I'm Caden Love.
And I'm Seema Love, his wife.
And we are Love and Lore, taking dark fantasy, light fantasy, and everything in between.
And something in between that we both love is Avatar, The Last Airbender, not the blue people. And we love that show so much. And with the new news of the new show coming up, we're really excited and we're thinking about it. And we also recently finished a really Avatar-inspired book. Not inspired, but that gives off the same vibe. And we decided to do this little top 5 books that will give you the same vibes that Avatar gives you. And for these books, we had several requirements. First, it has to be Asian-inspired. If possible, elemental magic. And 3, kind of be wholesome. Because I feel like Avatar is really wholesome.
It's wholesome, but it's not in a childish way. There are so many great things. That's one of the great things about Avatar, is it has humor and fun, but it can be enjoyed by a wide audience, and it has such brilliant story work, character arcs, and stuff like that. To start off, I want to talk about the book that I'm actually currently reading. This is called Blood of the Kami by Baptiste Pinson Wu. This is such a good book. The first book that I'm reading by him. This comes out in April, and this is about yokai hunters, essentially. So we focus on a young man named Ren who hunts yokai, and it is so heavily based in Japanese lore and mythology. It is so much fun. So most of the story is this younger coming-of-age boy and a girl as they go and hunt these monsters and have some really epic experiences. The magic system's super unique, and the way that it just connects to Japanese lore is amazing. So even though the story-wise isn't as much Avatar, it's not a big ensemble, which some of these later books do have, focuses on a single character who's determined, and it has some good humor there, but it just feels like a good Avatar-esque world.
Second book we wanted to mention today is The Poppy War. And even though I haven't read it, but I've watched a couple of reviews about it, and everybody loves this book, and just the structure of the books really reminds me of Avatar, because it's about someone who's training first, and then there's war, just like in the series where he's training, and then there's this war that's happening. And another thing is, I've heard that Poppy War can be kind of heavy, because it talks about some heavy stuff that is kind of even related to the history of China. So it is maybe less wholesome, because I also heard that the main character is kind of really gray and you don't know if you're rooting for them or not. But people say that it is kind of Avatar-esque, so that's our next recommendation.
Honestly, the book that feels the most Avatar to me is Will White's Cradle series, starting with Unsouled. This is one of the biggest independent fantasy books out there. I mean, this man is a New York Times bestseller as an indie author. This is a longer series of shorter books, most of them being around 300 pages, but it is what you would call progression fantasy. We follow this young man named Weishi Linden as he grows, learns new martial arts techniques. There are some great monsters and things out there like we see in Avatar. We have a wonderful ensemble full of fun characters. There's tons of great humor here, and it is all about his training and his progress, a lot of what we see with Aang in that Last Airbender series. This is a series, if you like Avatar, I can almost guarantee you will love it. It is so good, and I am working my way through it. I'm nearing about halfway, and if you love Avatar, check this out right now.
Next recommendation I want to give you guys is The Sword of Kaigen. Oh my gosh. Kaden and I just finished it, and I was, first of all, so in love with this book, and second of all, so amazed at how it gives the vibes of being in the Avatar The Last Airbender world. There is elemental magic, it is Asian inspired, and it's so crazy because they even have these mentions of these forbidden blood magic techniques or something like that, that it really reminds you of The Last Airbender. And just like with Poppy War, this book probably will be a little heavier than the Last Airbender level. It does deal with a lot of deep stuff that I personally really enjoyed reading about. So I can't recommend this enough. This is amazing.
It's really unique because most of the book you're going through two perspectives. One being young Mamodu, who is a young boy who's trying to learn about his family's Jia, which is essentially waterbending, and the other perspective is from his mother, Misaki, who is essentially the main character in this series. We learn a lot about her as a woman and motherhood and trying to be the warrior that she once was. It's a really good book, and I know that people are really raving it out there, and one of the great things about it is that this is also an independently published fantasy book that can show you just how great indie books can be. The final crowning jewel of this is my love, The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. Book 1 is The Grace of Kings. This is Book 2, The Wall of Storms. This is one of the greatest books I have ever read. The whole series is magnificent, but Book 2 just really knocks it out of the park. There are 4 books in this series, most of them being around 1,000 pages, but this series is complete epicness. It is literally the telling of a dynasty. Most of it feels very Asian-based. It is Asian-inspired, and a lot of it feels like Avatar without the bending. There is no magic here, but there are dragon-like creatures, really cool engineering feats because it does seem to take place around the Avatar time period. But the authors also said that this is very much inspired by early American history. A lot of this deals with colonialism and a lot of those themes that are focused on in early US history. So there are some difficult topics there, but you get such a great look at this family as they grow throughout time. Early on, you start with these young kids, and they later become the adults in the end of the story. Super fun, but even though you can have some darker moments of loss, you get some crazy things like in Book 3, there's literally a giant cooking battle, a cooking competition, and it is just one of the greatest things out there. Ken Liu is one of my favorite authors, and I cannot recommend this series enough. If you want something that feels like Avatar, minus the magic, larger world, and a little bit more of a mature tone. So, here are some of our picks. Let us know if you've read them, or if you have any other books that you think would fit the Avatar The Last Airbender vibes. Throw them in the comments because we would love to check them out, and there are some that we've already added to our list that we'd like to get to soon.
Thank you for watching!